Just do a quick mic check.
Wow, hello. Can we do a mic check? Do we have audio? Are we audible? How are you guys back there? Are we good?
Can you hear me?
Oh, that's on here. On here. Well, let's make sure we can hear us. Hi, folks. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good wherever you are. I want to know, can you hear me? Because we are trying something a little bit different today. If you can't tell, we have actual cameras on us right now, which is so exciting. But if you can't hear me, let me know. You can hear me. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We can hear you. Beautiful. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Hello, welcome. We are here at that conference in Wisconsin Dells, and the wonderful folks at that conference have given us the stage to be on stage to do Alexa Developer Office Hours. So that was the reason we had a slightly later than normal start. We were just making sure all the technology worked, but we are here, and I'm here with Ayumu. Would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yep. I'm Ayumu, and I'm working as technical developer advocate for Alexa. And I'm always like behind the scene, but today
Yeah,
I'm here.
he's actually almost always on office hours, just not in front of the camera. So, every once in a while, we're going to bring someone on from DAG to actually be on camera. So it's really cool to like have that presence and obviously answer any technical questions. Anybody comes in from the chat, we can still see you on chat. We just wanted to make sure that we could still see the chat and still see on the camera and still have audio. So it's just been really cool. And I'm seeing some of the same folks that come by all the time. So thank you, Dana. Thank you, Startup Santana. Coming from Bengaluru. Maybe someday I'll make it out that way. Today we're in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to talk a little bit about the show? How's it gone for you so far? I'll talk about what I'm doing here. But you can go and start.
Oh, the show?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
So, like, how many people? Like thousands people.
I think it's almost 1,000
people
Yeah,
came
yeah,
to
yeah.
Wisconsin Dells, and we are talking about like many tech stuff. And yeah, we actually have a booth there, and then showing how to develop Alexa skills, and yeah.
So we brought a pretty good sized crew here. We have a crew of 5 so far here today.
Yeah.
And we're all outside just in the hallway at the Alexa booth. We've got a really nice traffic flow going. We're seeing everybody come by, say hello, ask their questions about skill development directly from us while we're at the show. And we've got some like really cool little giveaways like notepads and cornhole game and stuff that we're giving people so people can kind of see what's going on with us and learn more about Alexa development. So you might not know this, maybe you do know this, maybe you do see us, but we do our best to attend various tech conferences throughout the year. And a lot of times when we do that, like if office hours is happening, we'll just kind of grab a corner and do office hours. But this is one of the times where I was like, hey, let's take advantage of the fact that we're actually at the conference and like do it on stage. And that conference is Summer Camp for Geeks. So if you're seeing behind me that is like these trees and this beautiful forested environment, we're actually at the Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin Dells. So you can see that there's like a little bit of a camp going on behind us, the tent. Right. So this is actually the stage. And we consider it like a summer camp. So this conference has just started. We had a really cool keynote this morning. And I got to listen to most of that, and it was just inspiring about like how to get started in tech. And then later on today, I'm actually going to be giving my talk, which is about natural language processing from start to finish, the history of it. In fact, I'm going to share something with you guys on the stream today because I brought one of my reference books with me that I'm getting a lot of really cool. Oh, it's in my book bag. There we go. Getting a lot of really cool info from. This has been like a big learning text for me. It's called the 50 Years of Text Games. And you think, oh, just games. But because tech, games, and text and natural language processing and then sound kind of all feed into the same thing, and you get that text to speech and then speech comes out. I've learned a lot about how we got to where we are in this point with AI and with like how AI has developed from the very beginnings of like how the first time somebody ever used text on a screen until today, when now we have these talking digital assistants and we have the world of large language models and all the cool things that are happening in tech. So
Cool.
I'm kind of giving that holistic like experience, like what's going to be the future and what are we working on now. It's just super, super fun stuff. So I'm I know the show just started, but is there anything that you're looking forward to? He's working the booth the entire time. Got some twisty little passages? Absolutely, you bet. All alike or all different, as the case may be.
How do you get that book? Like, how do you find the book?
How did I find this book? So this was actually a Kickstarter, but there's a companion website. Text games to voice games, exactly. And there's a little bit about about early voice games, like when you'd call somebody on the phone and get like they used to have this game, but it was an ARG. It was a alternate reality game called The Beast. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Oh, so it was an advertising campaign for the movie AI. So it was like a whole AI thing. And it was like a mystery solving puzzle game where you literally had to like call people on the phone and you had to like dig through weird clues on websites. There's a write-up about it in this book because it's still considered like a text game. And this is actually a website. So if you look up 50 years of text games online, you'll find most of these chapters actually have an online component. So if you just want to learn more about this book, I'm not getting a commission or anything. I did back the Kickstarter for this book because I'm so like, I've always been so enamored with the world of like interactive fiction and the possibilities of text gaming. So that's one of the things that I think would really inspire Alexa authors to make some interesting stuff. And honestly, I've learned so much like when I was putting together this talk. So I'm really excited to like share that knowledge with everybody and talk about like what I've learned and like how AI has evolved, because I know I'm kind of banging on a little bit, but it's always been an interesting thing for me to see like where we started and where we're going in the world of audio processing, language processing, translation. And it's one of the reasons I'm excited to be at Alexa, because it's so cool to be like in the world and be like a part of that new revolution. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, first time I've heard like a calling to someone sounds weird, but like what we are doing to Alexa is basically the same thing. So
right, and you're making connections with other people all over, and you can do that through games. You can do that through audio. You can do that through your skills that you create. So it's really cool to see, like I said, like how these things have evolved. And yes, there's twisty little passages. I mentioned. I think I might have lost camera feed briefly. There we go. Sorry, we're trying this, and it's really exciting. So all alike or all different, all good. Okay, wonderful. So I know the show's just started, but I was looking at the schedule. What do you think you're looking forward to the most, other than talking to developers?
So like many developer here or like any world know the Alexa, or Echo devices, but like people don't know about like they actually can develop these skills. So like we wanna tell about more like how to develop skills or something like that.
He does not want to stick next to my face. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of times when we go to these shows and we meet people, they know what Alexa can do for them in their home, and they think of it as like the smart home device that it always is for people. But what they don't know about is the world of Alexa development and the fact that you can make your own skills. And what we love to do too is showcase people's skills throughout. If you've got a cool skill that you want to show off, come and show it off. We've got the devices right on our table, so people can actually interact with those third-party skills and the stuff people make. And then it becomes like growing the ecosystem, because I think people don't realize. And this is something that if you're here and you're watching us on the show, you obviously do know, most of you are Alexa developers, but a lot of people I think that are developers don't necessarily realize that Alexa developer is a thing that you can be, that you can make those third-party games and apps and experiences. So, yeah.
One thing I want to add is like, I personally try to like push people to join the Slack channel because it's awesome. So like, I know some of the names. So like if someone joined the Slack and then, hey, we saw that conference and then we join, and be nice to them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're showing that off like all weekend. So we're going to be, or all week actually. So we're going to be here like, hey, don't forget, you can join the Slack. The Slack is, I love that we have this community of people like answering questions, and that there's a strong community of people chatting on there. And it's kind of a source of pride for me that when somebody jumps in and asks a question, then somebody else might, just from the community might say, oh, have you tried this? Have you figured out this
Mhm.
workaround? But do know that like our team is still in the Slack. We don't always get to every question super fast, but especially when we're on the road in an event like this, but we do get to your questions and we do see them. So if you have questions in the Slack, like don't hesitate to ask those questions there because we'll put them on.
Right.
Right. So what else are you looking forward to besides talking to developers? Because I think there's going to be like a little bit of a party tonight.
That's very hard. Yeah. No, tomorrow? I don't
Tomorrow
know.
and
But
tonight.
water park party
The water park is tomorrow, I think.
tomorrow. So
Yeah.
game night.
Game night. That's what
Today.
it is.
Yep.
That's what it is. Tonight there is like a game night happening in the main area, so that's gonna be super cool. And then tomorrow they're having like an after party, and it was not actually after party because there's one more day, so there's actually Thursday as well. So the final day is Thursday. So this is actually at the Kalahari Resort. So if you don't know, there's actually a water park here, which is like some of the Kalaharis. It's indoor water park. Here it's actually outdoor, right?
I'm not sure.
Because I walked by it earlier when you'll get on a plane. You want to come out? Hey, if there's any show, by the way, that you think we should be at and see you, I mean, we can't always make it everywhere because, there's only so much time in the year and so many people to be different places. But if there's a show you people are at that you want to go to and see and want to see Alexa there, let us know. Like say, hey, we're going to be present. We want to see where the community is because I'm trying to get out to where people are and just meet the developers like at their locations. So if you happen to, have a show that you really like that you think is cool and Alexa needs to be there, yeah, shout out to us on Slack. Let us know wherever that may be. So since we're here and do we have anybody who has developer questions for us today? Or we just want to kind of chat? I should have been at Comic-Con. Oh, geez. Tell me about Comic-Con. I hear it was different because there wasn't as many like celebrities right now. But I'm a big comic person, so if you've seen my home office that's covered in comic toys and everything, you'd know that I'm not. I definitely should have been at Comic-Con, but I will be at DragonCon. So if you go there, but I'm not going to be working. Getting back to the roots. Yeah, that's actually true. But I admire the artist.
Have you ever heard the comic market? That's like a Japanese version, but like kind of like a Comic-Con.
Oh no, I haven't. Where's that at?
That's in Tokyo somewhere, but it's huge and like so many cosplayers come and
comic Japan, the home of like the best cosplayers in the world because that's where they invented cosplay. Right?
Yeah.
I've heard of Tokyo Game Show.
Tokyo Game Show, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Have you ever been to that?
Yeah, I've been there like when I was, elementary school or something.
Oh, geez, gosh. I did go to E3 one year, but they didn't do E3. They don't do E3 anymore. I think they're semi-retiring E3. Yeah. I always like these developer events because, like I said, it's an opportunity to connect with developers and what people are thinking about. And this particular one, there's a really big variety of stuff. We're seeing a lot of web. We're seeing a lot of actually. My talk is like after lunch. It's like at 2:30 this time. Like right after that, there's a couple different talks that look really interesting. There's going to be some XR, like which is like VR/AR because you kind of combine the two things. And I'm always interested in that kind of topic. I'm not caught up with the latest and greatest in VR technology. I'm very behind because I haven't picked out like a new headset yet, but I want to see like where that's coming from. Have you looked at the schedule?
No, I haven't because I don't have access.
You're in the booth. Yeah. I get to rove around a little bit and actually see talks, but I think some of our folks have booth schedules. So it's going to be mostly about sitting out there and talking to folks that are coming by and handing out swag and having, those conversations that we're having. Yeah.
Still fun though. Yeah. Like talking to like many developers, like many things. So not only Alexa,
Right. It's people have the projects they kind of want to share. Did anybody tell you anything cool they're working on?
Not like developing side, but like someone told us that like their kid's speech was improved by Alexa because he really wants to talk to Alexa. So like he like practice, and then his like pronunciations got better, and he actually can speak.
Yeah, it was a really cool story. One of the things that I didn't mention is that since this is a water park and this is a family resort, there's actually a lot of kids here and there's a lot of families here.
Right.
So you actually see like a lot of developers bring their kids, they bring their whole family with them. And then it gives the kids like a firsthand experience to starting to learn to code and like looking through code and learning about the world of technology. And I think it's great because get them while they're young, inspire kids to make stuff. So yeah, we had a really good story that, kids are really interacting with Alexa in new and different ways. And becoming more tech savvy, like at a very young age than, I started coding when I was in high school or middle school, but I think even younger now they're starting, right?
Yeah.
Like you get, like they get decided to start playing with technology and learning what they can learn. And there's so many good tools here to do that. There's like Legos and there's like different games that they can play. And there's game night coming up. So
yeah, I've heard many kids start learning the coding with non-coding languages. So
right. Well, we have that the Alexa program for that too, the Alexa Inventor program, where they're actually like dragging and dropping. So I don't know if there's a session about like a low code session at this event.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I did see some robot sessions that looked really interesting because kids like to build robots and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really cool. So I'm here till Thursday. Are you here till Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay. So the closing ceremony is going to be Thursday evening. So how's everybody else doing right now? If we are in the chat, definitely stop by if you've got Alexa developer questions, because we are definitely able to answer those today. If you do have questions, and if not, I will just keep talking about my talk that I'm giving in the next couple hours. But I don't want to give too many spoilers. I feel like
that's right.
I feel like I don't want to give too many spoilers. It's gonna be a good talk though. I really like to ramble on about the roots of where we got started with development and how computers have evolved over the decades. So this book is a 50-year span. Although a friend of mine, and this is like at the very end of my talk, he said that he thinks AI runs in 15-year cycles. So you're going to always see that like new burst of activity every 15 years. So that kind of makes sense to me. And I think right now in this time and place, we're at a spot where it's definitely like booming and exploded, and a lot of new things are happening with development, with AI, with people trying new NLP. So we're right in that space right now where stuff is sort of exploding and changing and becoming more powerful. And then 15 years from now, maybe we'll get the next big explosion.
I don't know why 15 years to see new things.
Yeah, well, we're seeing so many new things like this year and in this time and space. We're seeing that exponential increase. And I think part of it is just that we didn't have like as powerful of processors as we do now, right? Like 15 years ago, if you think about where we were in just trying to figure out, maybe I'm thinking like at this point, I'm thinking like almost 20 years back, where the internet was still sort of a new thing that people were working on and trying to figure out like what the potential of it was. And if you look at the way I structured this talk, there's kind of a dead zone in the 1990s in terms of like advances in AI. Not that people weren't working on AI, but people were working on making the internet instead for that period of time. So there's not a lot to say between like 1990 and 1997, like in the middle of the 90s. There's not a lot to say because it's sort of like, well, .com happens. And so that's the part that we're kind of focused on. Everybody in tech was kind of focused on like, how do we use the internet? And so AI wasn't the biggest push. This voice AI wasn't the biggest push. And then as the 2000s emerge and we become more sophisticated, then machine learning starts to happen. And then when machine learning starts to happen, it opens up all these really cool avenues of like different things that people can work from.
Yeah, I guess if the internet era doesn't exist, then like we probably won't get this point in this time, I guess.
Right. Yeah. We needed that internet era, that beginning of the bubbling of the internet.
Mhm.
So the keynote this morning was really interesting because he was talking about like his journey as a developer, and I'm not going to like cop his whole speech or anything, but starting from the beginning of learning HTML. And, is HTML a coding language? Like, I agree. I think it is. I know it's markup. But on the other hand, it's a great place for like young people to get started writing code and
Mhm.
immediately seeing the results of what they've written on the screen, which is the same way like I think that APL obviously is a
Mhm.
coding language, because even though it's a markup and it's a visual, when you're using APL, we've had really great APL demos in the past. You're still creating interactivity, you're creating code. So I'm very open-minded about what is and isn't a coding language. I
Yeah.
feel like if you make something with it and it works, then it's a coding language, regardless of if it's or what.
Right.
And honestly, like, I'm always in favor of those low-code solutions that we
Mhm.
were talking about, like for kids or even for like people who aren't necessarily traditional developers.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's a section in this book where they talk about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Are you familiar with that?
Oh.
It's like a book series
Mhm.
it's like a book series where the developer also, or not developer, the author, it's very funny. It's set in space. They made a movie out of it at one point. But the author also made an interactive version of the book
Okay.
that you could actually like interact with. And that's what's in this book here. So they talk a little bit about like his philosophy of creating these interactive storytelling. And his point is that if everybody who writes content for the computer is just a computer nerd, there's a whole wealth of other content creators out there that aren't being represented, that maybe aren't being focused on. And he put it this way, like, imagine if everything written on a typewriter was only made by the inventor of the typewriter.
Makes sense.
So that's why I'm like a big fan of low code
Okay.
type solutions, because I feel like it enables young people, old people, children, adults, people who are non-traditional coders to
Mhm.
come in and be like, ooh, I want to make a cool thing.
Yeah, good thing. Like you just need to bring the idea, and then you can easily make what they want to build.
Right. And bring your idea to us
Mhm.
and say, hey, I want to make this thing. So we're always open to people throwing their wacky ideas in our direction when we go to these shows. And we always open to the people like sharing their concepts with us.
Mhm.
They'd have somebody ask, like, what if somebody steals my idea? I used to get that all the time when I was teaching game development. And I was like, well, the thing is that the power is in the execution of the idea.
Mhm.
It's not the idea per se that is it's in how well do you pull off that thing that you're making. Right. I'm just looking to see if anybody's in the chat questions, but we don't have a lot of questions today. Maybe people are working on their own stuff. So everybody out there, what are you working on right now? Anything cool, anything exciting that you want to share with us? Because that's what we're here to hear from people here, and we're here to hear that from you. So if you have anything cool you want to talk about that's new and different, drop a line to us, let us know what's going on, because we're going to be here. And then, I do have one more shout out, by the way. If you are interested in making money with your ideas, we have a tech talk tomorrow. I'm going to post that in the chat right now. And that's for our ISP. So a couple weeks ago, we had our in-skill purchase. We had Sid on here, and he was talking about our in-skill purchases. If you're interested in doing in-skill purchases and you want a more in-depth monetization strategy, check out that tech talk that's coming up. That'll give you like more in-depth information about how to make money using your skills. I know that's a big question on a lot of people's mind. They want to know, like, how do I do it? How do I implement it? What's the best practices and all that? So definitely tune in. If you're interested in that, I just posted it in the chat just now. And next week, we're also going to have DAG team on. So if you do have any in-depth questions, next week's a good time to tune in for that. We're going to have Wilfred on next week.
Okay,
so,
I'll be behind the scenes.
I know you'll be behind the scenes again. Like I said, they're always extremely helpful with all the Q&A that we have going on. So if you do have big questions, now's the time to ask them. So since you're here, I'm going to throw it back to you. we'll put you on the spot a little bit.
Mhm.
How long have you been with the DAG team?
1 and couple of months, 3 months. Yeah.
3 months? Oh yeah, you've been helping out like all the time with
Yeah.
office hours, so you're
Yeah.
like right on it.
Yeah.
How's it going for you? Like, what's your day to day? What's the cool stuff you're working on?
Like everything is cool for me. Like, because like we got a bunch of questions from the developers, and then we figured out what's wrong and then how to solve the issue. And then like people are like generally really nice and then so helpful to give us like many information, and then like it feels like work together. So like every single like problem is that we receive, or like I shouldn't say that, but it's so like how can I put it's really like a great for me to grow my the skills and
Oh,
like
right.
helping people. So I'm so happy about it.
You learn more when you're teaching other people sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
just like I said, like just in preparing this talk, I learned like 5 new things. And then from asking people like for their opinion about it, I learned more new things.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't even know as much as I knew when I started writing this as I do now when I'm ready to like talk about it. And I feel like it's the same way with your job, right? Like
Yeah.
people bring you questions that are like, wait, I have never seen this problem before.
Yeah, I always tell my coworker like, hey, I'm sorry to asking again or something, and
Mhm.
like I'm happy to hear, because like I can learn something from you if you ask me something. So
And developers, I'm sure, are bringing like extremely challenging stuff.
yeah,
Or
because
sometimes it's something really simple, but
but like developers knows what to do, and like then they couldn't figure it out, right? So like the questions we receive is like not like super simple things, so like
right.
challenging, so fun.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think if something is reaching contact us, by the time you're answering it, they've tried all the obvious stuff.
Mhm.
It's not like, can you turn it off, turn it back on again? Although I did send a contact us ticket when I was like first learning Alexa skill development that was actually pretty simple, where I just missed a line of code that I needed. So sometimes you might get a few things like that.
Yeah, but so sometimes people find really hard time to find like actual like a document. So like even that kind of question, we are happy to help, because we read the document and we find the document like almost every single day and then all day. So like we know where it is. So
Right.
like if you can find like any information or something, you can just Slack or the contact us, then we can help.
Yeah, the documentation, I'm actually arranging to have the documentation team on office hours at one point to talk about that, because I think the documentation for Alexa has evolved a lot over, just because software changes, documentation changes, and I think a lot of times it might be hard to find exactly what you're looking for. But your team knows the docs inside and out, right? You know everything about it, so.
Yeah, and then we are happy to hear like any feedback about the documentation or anything. So we have also like a user voice, and you can give us feedback for like a feature request or something like that.
Yeah, and y'all are checking that user voice pretty often, right? So when you see something come up, I know sometimes in the Slack, people will post like, I have feedback about the feature that we want. It's usually best to post that on user voice, because then we have like a record of that being posted there. I think with the Slack is that eventually stuff will like disappear. I'm personally also interested in people's feedback about how we're doing as a Slack community. Because I've seen like a lot of conversation. We have a lot of new members coming in all the time. And so if you have like Slack feedback, I'm a good person to hit up. I'm a good person to hit up for that, because I'm always on Slack. I'm on there all the time. So, but DAG team is also on there all the time. Right. Now, I don't know if this is premature, but I have also asked a few questions about Stack Overflow. I think your team might be doing a little more with it in the future.
We are working on that, and like we are trying to like answer more questions on the Stack Overflow as well.
Oh, that's good. It's good to hear, because I know that a lot of developers still use that as their source of like getting information about something they're working on. And we want to go wherever developers are posting, whether it's in user voice, whether it's there, whether it's here on our Slack channel, or whether they're just like coming to office hours and asking questions. We want to hear from you. So yeah, definitely, for sure.
And we are also working maintain GitHub as well. So like
Uh-huh.
if you find some like a bug or difficult on this GitHub, you can just send issues, and then we can also working on it. So
I thought I had a banner for our GitHub, but I don't know if I do.
it's a github.com/Alexa-samples.
GitHub.com/Alexa/samples. Wonderful.
Oh, dash
Dash
samples.
samples. Alexa dash samples. Yeah. We have posted that before. Are there any new GitHub repos?
We actually just released one repo last week. So
What's that one about?
that was a dynamic catalog.
I'll post this in the chat real quick.
Right.
Should be there. That's the link. Alexa dash samples.
Mhm.
Oh, the catalog update. So that one is brand
Yep.
new.
That's brand new.
Really cool. And what does this new sample do?
So this is like dynamically update your interaction model automatically, and then you need to set on the Lambda for updating the stuff. But yeah, I'm not the owner, so like I
it's
don't
okay. No.
know the
But
details.
this is for skill developers with a custom Lambda.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's not like a custom skill. It's like more like a tools for
Okay.
the custom skill.
A tool to
Yeah.
assist. Yeah. Okay. Got it. So it's not the full skill. It's just like if you want to automatically update your catalog of your skill.
Mhm.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm checking it out now. This is cool. This is new. So this is how you and then you can resubmit for certification after. So in the DAG team, when you do contact us, do you get a lot of certification questions, or do people usually go elsewhere for those?
I am tech side, so I don't
don't see those
see
questions.
certification cases, but we receive a bunch. Yeah.
I know that sometimes that's like the biggest questions people have out there,
Mhm.
which is why we have the CERT team on semi-periodically to answer questions. But
Yeah. So like I want to ask everyone that if like our communication from the certification team
Mhm.
is not like sufficient, or it's complicated, and then you can just feedback to
yeah.
us. Yeah.
Right. So if we're ever confused about any feedback you get, whether it's about your code on the tech side or whether it's about why you didn't pass CERT, you
Right.
can just respond with that contact us. In my experience, y'all are pretty fast at responding to those and pretty good messages.
Good,
I
yeah.
know some people are like, I don't know if that works, but it does. And you actually get a person who responds to you. It's not, it's a person. It's not like a robot that will send an automated message to your contact
Right.
us. We actually do read all those messages. So they're pretty valuable, I think, for developers and everything else. So this is like a week off for you, kind of, sort of, from answering tech questions, or are you still out there answering questions?
I'm still answering questions, but not like too much.
Not as much in the weeds when you're
Mhm.
out here and having summer camp.
Yeah.
Summer camp for these.
It's so like a refreshing. Like I'm really having fun. Like asking answering the questions, but
Mhm.
also like come to here to talk to in person is like really different experience, and I'm really happy about it too.
Yeah, Dana has been asking a while about what the Alexa Live timing is, and I just want y'all to know that message is going to go out in the fall this time around. We have been saying for a while we're going to be doing our messaging in the fall. We don't have a date for you yet, unfortunately, but that we will let you know. So it's not the summer. It's going to be in the fall. Whatever we end up doing, when we're giving our new developer messaging. So do hang on out there. I know you have asked us in the Slack previously, and we haven't had like a very straight answer, but that's because we're pushing to fall. Talk to us again then, and we'll have more info. So that way that's what all I can say for now, because like I said, I don't have the day. But like we'll let you know like when there's more news about that. Yeah. So I think we might end up cutting a little short today and giving the stage back to people, just because I think I've covered most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about today. But I really do appreciate everybody stopping by, and I really appreciate the staff of that conference for showing off, letting us be on the stage. It's so freaking exciting. This is a question I have, by the way. If I were to go to these events, I really want to get like a backpack and like walk around and show off the event a little bit more, because I think it just kind of becomes like a way to showcase the work that everybody's working on and developers are working on. And that gives us a chance to like interview the developers that are present at the event as well.
Right.
I don't want to put people on the spot too bad though, because like right now it's just us and we're not like attacking people on the streets and saying, hey, show us what you're working on. But on the other hand, I love being part of a robust developer community. And I love like chatting with people and what they're working on and doing. So it's always cool to see the energy that comes up around these big events, and people's stories always like move me to think more creatively. And every time I come to something like this, I always leave like more energized to work on something new that I haven't worked on before.
Right.
So I think if you haven't had a chance to actually go to a show, either because traveling's hard or because, you know, this show actually has been live streaming all day. So on their YouTube channel, if you check it out, there's actually that conference live stream. We're part of it now because we're doing this show here today for y'all, but we're doing this on our usual spot. But if you actually go to the LAT conference website, which is just that.us, as far as I know, make sure I get that right.
Yeah, that.us.
That.us, yes. You can actually check out a whole schedule of stuff that they're showing off at the conference, and they're live streaming all the keynotes and a bunch of other stuff from the stage. So I don't know if they're recording my talk, although people have asked. So I think I might end up recording it or making a YouTube video or something at some point for people who want to see it. But if you check this out, they're going to show all the keynotes and like important talks are actually going to be live broadcasts from this right here stage where we're at. So if you want to see more cool developer stuff, I'm also, let me know, by the way, this is another thing I'm trying out that's new. But if you're a developer and you stream on Twitch, let me know. And I want to follow and watch you, because I haven't been streaming any of my development stuff from my personal account, but I'm here on the Amazon Alexa account, and like I want to promote the work of good developers.
Great.
So if you're developing, like doing Alexa development, let us know. We maybe even come on the office hours sometime as well and talk about what you're working on, especially if you're doing live stream or anything like that. So
Cool.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. That's going to be our show for today. We're going to cut it about 15 minutes early, and I think we're going to go. They're setting up lunch in the back of this room here. So, but thank you for being on camera with
Thank
me
you for
today.
having me. Yeah.
Oh, thank
Great.
you. Can we do? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's going to wrap us. Thanks to the camera crew, by the way, for helping us out do the show. You guys are awesome. Next week, we're going to be back at my home office, and we're going to be talking to Wilfred from DAG, and we'll see you then. Don't forget about the Tech Talk tomorrow, by the way. If there's a Tech Talk tomorrow, you want to learn about ISP, definitely tune in. We will see you next time.